Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is Wednesday. Happy to Hump Day, and we are, in a really slow, confusing time, and it kind of it reminds me of the Watergate years. So what we're seeing now is we're in a Watergate market, and things have come out about the government in way incredibly worse than what Watergate was. Watergate was just a few people and not much. Nobody really got hurt from it. Instantly pro trust trader. I like that. Greetings from planet Earth here to you. Peace be with you. So, it seems like we've moved into a Watergate market. That's what it seems like to me. It reminds me of the Watergate years. I remember them pretty clearly. I was very involved in it at some point or another in studying it during it happening. I was taking a government course during the Watergate years, at prep school. So it was very, we were taking it apart. We were watching it. We saw the economic issues. Inflation was starting to build up. People like Alan Greenspan were walking around with little WIN buttons on their suits. Like a button you put on there that says, have a happy day, or peace be with you, that type of thing. Or more nukes, less kooks, that type of thing. Goofy stuff. And it was WIN, whip inflation now. At the same time, the president was being under pressure. The attorney general was under pressure for investigating the Democrat Party's headquarters, and they called them the plumbers, that type of thing. And in the end, the attorney general went to jail. And it looks like we're at that point again now. It looks like we're in the Watergate years now. And it doesn't look like it can go away. That's the problem, is there's nothing going to stop it. It just keeps on rolling because there was so much discovered. And the national media is doing exactly what it did back then. It protected the party they supported and attacked the party they hated. And they're doing it now. So you're not really seeing much in the news about it. But it's going to be really noisy now for the next year or so. It's not going to go away, and money, when money is scared, it chooses to do nothing. That's usually the way it works. It chooses to do nothing, and so at this point, we have good news on the president and the Speaker of the House negotiating, and the market shrugged it off. It doesn't, let me just show you how quiet it is. There it is. Matter of fact, at one point in the European Open, they brought it back down to the lows right there today. That's an intraday chart of the S&P 500. And the best they could do is get it up to 40. So markets are scared. They don't know what to do and what to do about it. Hey, Robin, it's the Watergate years all over again. I realize that now. I kept on thinking I recognize this pattern. I was in prep school at that point, and we were dissecting it. Do you remember Alan Greenspan being the Secretary of Treasury for Nixon and wearing those WIN buttons, whip inflation now in 1972 and 73 and all that? Ah, wow, that looks neat. Is that like, let me see that. Hello, I like that. Wow, cool. Hello to you. I want to say hello, Naruto. I try to study. Don't we all? Don't we all? So, it is what it is. Let's see. I believe that's Chinese, right? I think we're seeing Chinese there. Sometimes I think it's, Japanese and Chinese to me is, the stick figures are kind of cool. It kind of, makes sense to me. Muchang, maybe something like that. So, let's see. Anyway, well, hello to you. Thank you for stopping into the trading pit. We're just getting, yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was Chinese. And so, don't worry about it. I'm bad English too. Trust me. And so, we're just starting to realize we're moving into the Watergate years. And the markets went sideways for a long while. We'll see if we can get some pictures of, the trading of the Dow, back then. It just went into the sideways market. They couldn't get going. We had inflation at the same time. They wanted it, the best way to hedge for inflation is to buy stocks. So that put pressure on the stocks to go up, but they really couldn't get it to do much more than that, just a little bump. Here we are hearing good news, and the markets are doing nothing. So that tells us, even more now, and I just know this is all going to play out the same way as Watergate. Maybe 2 attorney generals will go to jail on this one. Who knows? It could be really wild. Maybe even a head of the FBI might go to jail, things like that. These are like, not only were they the plumbers, it was like the plumbers union. It was like, they weren't just the plumbers, it was the plumbers union. Everybody on that side of the boat. It's a wild one, isn't it? I'm just thinking about it out loud. So anyway, you can see we have and the dollar index is up there. You can see the dollar is relatively firm still. Doesn't seem to want to let go. Remember, when the world catches a cold, no, was it? How do they say it? When the United States catches a cold, the world sneezes. And so that's pretty much what it comes down to. Matter of fact, the speaker's on live right now, and he's saying that. Let's see what he says. But I mean, the market should be ripping. They should be ripping. The markets should be taking off to the moon. Everybody says, oh, it's that. Now they're starting to talk about like recession. We were in recession 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. What's the difference? Markets are forward. Ahmed, hi, how you doing? Masafar. Yeah, it's the Watergate years. Everybody's going to go through the Watergate years. And it's not just the plumbers, it's the whole plumbers union. Oh my God. It's not just a few, it's all of them. So I've just started realizing that. We'll have to get some charts up, show you back in the 70s how the whole markets went sideways. They couldn't get any legs. They were fighting inflation. It was the same identical thing as we see now. Okay, so the speaker's saying we've got a process now. They're starting to negotiate with us finally. So why isn't the market up why isn't the S&P's up 75 points? I think I'm going to have my sip of tea here. But hold on. There we are. So, as you can see, and let's put it over on Chicago Quant right here. Right there, you see it. It's been in a daily buy since down in here, down near the par 50 area, par 75 area, I guess you'd say, around the 101. And here we are heading for the 103 again. This is going to... I think that when America slows down, the world freezes. I think that's how it usually works. So I think what we're seeing here is we're going through the Watergate years again. And it's not going to... We're just at the beginning. I don't know how many of you know, but there was a 307-page report put out a day and a half ago that just basically shows the evidence to everything Trump had been saying for a bunch of years. So he was a special prosecutor for the for the Justice Department, and he put that report out. It took him 4 years. A lot of people are confused why it took 4 years, but in the end result is it basically hangs a noose around dozens of people, all the way from Obama on. It's crazy. It's been a pleasure studying with you while translating again to learn. Excellent. My English is fine. Yeah, I think his English is fine too. So yeah, Robin, it's the Watergate years all over again. All right. Another sip of tea there. So you can see money is running towards the dollar. Let's do this. Let's jump around a little bit. Let's see what gold is doing. Instead of going right through to the currencies, gold is being sold off. We've been in a sell here for, 5 days? And it's down again today. It's broken the $200 area. It looked like we got into the weekly sell last week, but when all the numbers finally played out by Monday, it was not in the weekly sell. And you can see we are there now, though. It's pressing down, and it's done the damage already. It's broken our bottom manifold right here. And when it does that, it's like a 99.9% chance it stays in a weekly buy. I'm sorry, a weekly sell in this case. A weekly sell. And if it was from the top, it would be a weekly buy. So it's in a weekly sell at this point. It's they've really damaged it. And you got to wonder, you got to wonder, now that we're in the Watergate years, the markets are going to go sideways more. Sell premium. And if Metho's in here, Metho, watch out, man. The volatility may not go anywhere. Take a look at the 1970s before the options market was created. It was Watergate was like 4 years before. Was it 4 years? 72. And options were started basically going into late 75, going into 76. So it's like 3.5 years before options. And, I think we're going to see this go on like this until the end of the presidency now. Now, the media sooner or later is going to have to do something about it. Doc, how long sideways show would you expect? I would say all the way up to the next presidency. I think that's, it's probably now the markets are probably going to get stalled out because there's too much evidence now everywhere. Not only that, just when you thought that everybody thought that maybe the crazies in our government, with Mr. Biden and so forth, would stop some of this, they went out yesterday morning and fired all the people who were investigating his son. Now they have like hundreds of millions of dollars of audit trails all over the place with him and 8 other members of his family, Joe Biden's family. 8 members. 8 other members. Grandchildren that are 10 years old were getting $150,000, $200,000 wired to their own private little LLC, things like that. I mean, it's crazy. And the media in America is doing the same thing during the Watergate years. It's protecting the party they support. So you're not really seeing much about it in the U.S. news. You're not seeing it Reuters. You're not seeing it in AP. You're not seeing it in the 3 major networks of ABC, NBC, and CBS. You're not seeing any of it. Matter of fact, I heard on CNN, someone said, I wasn't watching it, but I heard someone quote it, said that they called it a nothing sandwich. So in other words, don't pay attention to it. So it's not going to go away. They don't have a choice. It's just not going to go away. There's just way too much evidence laying around, and money does not like uncertainty. And if we're not up 500 points right now, something's wrong. We're up 129 points on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. The speaker is only saying positive stuff. But, he's saying very positive stuff that normally would take this market and send it through the roof. The president has agreed to negotiate. They've sent in people to negotiate. The speaker is the only one who can pass this thing. In other words, Biden can't do it. The House, Biden can, he can sign it, and right now he could sign it. He could sign it this moment in time, it would be all over with. But he's not willing to sign it yet. And it's all going to be Watergate now. It's going to be, we're going to go into the snooze. We're going to be snoozing. So I say all the way up to the next presidency, this stock market may not move more than 5 or let's say 1,000 points in either direction for the next 9 months or something like that. It could just literally sit dead here. Literally sit dead. Now, with as things go through the Watergate period here, Watergate 2 it is, I guess you call it. That there may be some positive stuff that'll start to perk out, and then the markets will start to anticipate a major landslide for a healthy economy, and then you may start to see money get committed. And so that's where we're at the moment. But at this point in time, the markets have been acting like this for a couple of days. They must have known the Durham report was coming out. They've done nothing. The markets have basically done nothing over it all. The media is not talking about it at all. And there's just a couple of networks, minor networks that are discussing it. And I'd imagine, they're running towards the dollar. There's nowhere else to go at this point. Because if the world goes to sleep, who loses the most? Not the United States, the rest of the world. Just like we've just seen where China's economy is not growing, and people keep on saying, for 6 months, if China would only open up, if China would just open up, we're going to get going. Well, China opened up, and it's not doing a thing. It can't budge us. It just can't budge the action. So, alrighty. That's it for that. And I guess looking at the dollar index there, right here, and looking at gold right here says the whole story right there. That's what it is. All right. All right. Now, okay. So I think that I've answered that. We will follow this. Our math is always pretty clean and true, so we'll be able to follow it. We'll know when it's breaking out and when it's not. Right now, you can see the S&P was flirting with a weekly sell. Let's go back to that. There it is right there. Now it's fighting with getting into a daily buy again. And you can see it's just right underneath there. The Dow, the old grand lady of them all, last week picked it up and went into a weekly sell. Now the Tech 100 is still in the weekly buy. All right, let's go take a look at the euro this morning. Let's get back to the currencies. We'll go through the currencies like we normally do. But remember, traders, if you want to see something, just shout it out. I mean, if you wanted to see gold again, we'll put it up there. Believe me. We're always willing to look to see what's going on. You never know when you do a second or a third look. Now, you can see here the euro has been selling off for a bunch of days. I was really surprised. I really thought that we were building a strong base in here to go up. It's we were in that weekly buy, as you can see, since back in here. And, it was doing its thing. And then the Durham report came out right there. And obviously some people probably already knew it, because, people are talking inside the government and they do things like that. They run against the head of the markets before anybody knows about it. I mean, you see how wealthy people are in government itself, the congressmen and women and especially on the Democrat side. They're loaded with money because they've been trading against, laws and information for a while now. And you can see it right there. The euro is having its problem. And it's not willing to pick up. Now, last night when I was doing the numbers, after the markets were all closed here in the States, I was really surprised. I thought, oh, maybe the British pound now closed in a buy because it was looking like it was going to close in a daily buy. But it didn't. They sold it back down even more. So it's obviously they're all picking it up at this point, that the market is not going anywhere. Now, it'll be interesting. You would think that the Dow is up 141 points with the speaker speaking. He's only gone up 17 points on the Dow. That's it, 17 points. Maybe a point and a half or a point on the S&Ps. Matter of fact, it might be even down from when the speaker started speaking. And you can see it right there. It's plateaued. It's like a little triangle since he started speaking. It's basically just, well, at least it's getting higher up. But it hasn't taken out the highs of this morning. And that was before he spoke. So, I mean, everything he said is very bullish. And if it wasn't for the Durham report, it probably would be ripping by, hundreds right now. All right. Let's take a look at British pound. Right there. The same thing. I mean, we were really close trying to get into a buy yesterday and it failed at it. It's trying again today. There it is. It's trying to get going again. You see where it closed basically on the lows yesterday. And when it was up here where the little green dot was, it was trying to get into the buy. And you can see here the fast is slowly drifting into going after the manifold down here on the negative side. The slow part of the algorithm is just kind of quiet. Not willing to push into the sell yet. and we'll see how this plays out. Today's Wednesday. We got 2 more days besides today, so it's only halfway through the week. Let's see. What else can we say about any of that? You can see the same things here. The yellow line is at was at 12. Now it's 9. It's at 9.10, I guess it is. 9.9394. And the green is at 11, so it's trying to lift up. You can see that strength's trying to pick up again. Welcome to the Watergate years. All right. Now we go from there to the Swiss. And there's the Swiss. And a little disappointing again. We thought that they had gotten out of their issues. And obviously, again, when America sneezes, the world catches a cold. In this case here, America will be quieter, less aggressive financially, and the rest of the world will starve. That'll be pretty much it. Boy, I did see Siemens numbers this morning. The stock, they brought in like 3.7 billion euros from profits this quarter. Not bad. You can see here it's taking out these highs now and playing with the top part of the Bollinger Band there. Someone who follows us, watches Bollinger Bands, we left it up there for them. And you can see our work is breaking through the manifold on both of these, which is, it's already in a weekly buy, but now it's really showing really energy to get going, which means they're selling currencies and they're buying dollars. They're selling pairs trades and buying dollars. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, and ouch. All right, and from there we'll go over to the yen. Boy, I heard something, odd yesterday. I remember mentioning it into the webinar. Some analyst said, if you're really worried about the dollar, buy Japanese stocks and sell American stocks. And I'm thinking to myself, woo, that's for a market that's been trapped at it has not taken out a 40-year high. 40. It's like not since like 1993. No, it's a 30-year high. I'm sorry, a 30-year high. It hasn't taken out a 30-year high on the Nikkei. 30 years. 3 decades. It hasn't been able to take it out. And they're saying, well, buy it now. It's like, wow, I don't know about that. Good. Good for you. I will try to be as interesting as possible. And I'm impressed that you're listening to me. Thank you very much. All right, so from the Swiss, we'll throw the yen on that. And there it is right there, the yen. And the yen is moving up. It's losing against the dollar. So if you buy Japanese stocks, when that fellow set it back here at this low, you're obviously underwater already. Since the currency is going from 134 to 137, $1.34 to $1.37, he's already losing 1.5%. Not counting the stocks itself. But anyway, that's the way it goes. That's what a market's all about. There's a buyer, there's a seller. There's an opinion here, there's an opinion there. All right, from the yen, we'll slide over to the Turkish lira. They have another 10 or 11 days, right? We have 2 Sundays from now is elections again. So we'll see how that goes. And you can see it's the second day of green here. On the Euro Turkish lira, you can see the green line is at 71 and the yellow line is at 61. So it's showing that strength there. Let's find it over here on Chicago Quant. Right there. And it's really not showing us much strength there. It's let's turn off Hinky Ashky and see how it looks over here. Yeah, see it's down for the day. Yesterday was up a little bit, but today is down. So, it's just kind of, the pressure is on the upside here, though. Our little indicator we've developed here, the Manhattan indicator, I like to call it, has showing buying. And you can see we're way down here. So maybe there'll be some, well, see, when it goes up, it's actually hurting the country. So the fact that it's just sideways and down is a good thing. It says that maybe things could work out for the country. That would be nice. Oh, excuse me. I had a couple sneezes there. So there's the Turkish lira, and it seems to be, and it's getting. You see some wild spikes in it, like the spike there, and a spike there. This is, the spikes are confirming each other. That's a lot of uncertainty going on there. So, all right. From there, we go over to, for those that like to trade against the dollar, we recommend the King Brick. The King Brick is the Mexican peso. It's the #1 brick currency in the world. So let's go check it out. There it is. Now it's been gliding down. You can see that right there. Let me take a sip of tea. It's been gliding down, which means I have a lid on my tea too. That's why you hear that rattle. What it means is that it's gaining against the dollar. Now, the last day or two now, yesterday afternoon and going into today after the Durham situation, again, maybe it's starting to feel the pressure there. You can see it's playing with the daily buy right there on that edge there. And let's put it up on here. And I like to call this the King Brick. This is the King Peso. You can see a green there. You see the yellow is 18.9. You see the green is 31. So you're seeing the strength try to come into this. What else can we say about all that? And we're still in the weekly, and you can see that both of them are underneath the manifold. So I'm not exactly super excited, figuring this is like a dead cat bounce, and then they'll probably try to make some more lows. It's a great product to use as an alternative to the dollar. If you're anti-dollar, buy Mexican pesos. The brick, it's the King Brick. It'll be, when they finally put a brick index together, this will be the powerhouse of it. It'll be like, it'll be the #1 currency in there. Probably South African Rand will be #2. We're thinking the Indian Rupee will not be #3. And then from there, it's, that's probably going to be 75-80% of the brick. And we'll find out who the other currencies are. That fixed product that they have in China probably, will be in there. That'll probably 1.5 or 2%. Probably the currency will not be named. Like in Baltimore and Harry Potter, that would be the Russian ruble. More than likely, that could be 6 or 7% of the index. I could see that. Trying to think who else in there. Brazil. I'm not even sure what they can do with the Brazil real. Probably be like the China fixed product. It'll probably be 1.5% or 2%, something like that. There'll be very minor players in the brick, but at least they'll have that alternative that everybody's been asking for. All right. So from there, we slide over to two currencies that match up to commodities. We watch the Canadian dollar, which is about 70% of the time correlated with oil. So we'll put that up on there. There it is. There's CAD. And you can see it's kind of just hanging out up in here. The yellow is at 68 and the green is at 56. So there's some pressure on it to go down. Let's put it up over here on Chicago Quant. Right there it is. And you see it's pretty much unchanged too. It's trying to lift up a little bit. You can see the daily is pushing down. It's trying to get into the sell. Did it make it in there yesterday? Let's see. It did. It went into the sell yesterday. But it doesn't seem to like it. That's the weird part. So it went into the sell there yesterday. And it's lower today by a little bit. It tried to take out a high in there, but it didn't seem to hold up. And you can see the weekly, we're in a weekly buy for a second week. There we are. No, we're still lifting up the market, so that's pretty good. We're up 167 now on the Dow. That's a good thing. Let's see how just take a look at the stock indice over here. There you go. Now they're starting to get a little push into it. Like I said, it's the Watergate year, so every time you see strength, it'll be like sleepy strength, you know, like they just woke it up or something. Wake up. Let's fix that now. Let's move this over like that. And so you can see that strength in it. Went into the buy down in here in the 25s or 30ish area down. I guess which one was it? It was right here, like 30. And what's this? FBI ignored Clinton effort to manipulate Bureau. Yeah. FBI is trying to defend themselves now. This is like the beginning of Watergate. It's wild. It's going to be fun. We're going to enjoy it. What'll be fun is when the media has to actually start reporting it. It'll start to really drive them crazy. All right. Let's see. What do we got here? What else we got to say? Not much. That just shows the stocks are trying to firm up. That's good. Should be through the roof compared to what the speaker just said. And so Canadian is here, and it's kind of drippy. I guess you could say it's sticky, as they would say in the hedge fund world. So let's take a look at. Let's see. Where is that? Right here. Let's get that mouse over there one more time. There it is. And so let's take a look at crude oil here. And there's crude oil. It's up a little bit. It's trying to get into the buy. It's kind of choked off. We're in that weekly sell still. There is not a lot of conviction right here. It just seems to be trapped with that Watergate thing going on. This is going to go on for a while. This is going to be many months of fun like this. All right. I guess I'm going to start setting up selling call spreads and put spreads and sit back and watch it. Let them melt. All right. And then from there, let's see. What should we do? We could go put it up on the screen over here. Let's see. Let's put the South African Rand. And there's the Rand. It's lifting up, which is usually a very negative for the gold. And we have already looked at gold once when we were trying to identify how the dollar was being so strong. You can see gold is towards the lower end of its range. You can see it's flirting with the weekly sell. There's a lot of pressure on the product. And basically, it's not really going to do anything more than just drift around at this point. I'm trying to remember what the gold back then. The gold was trading in during the Watergate years. I think the gold was trading in I remember like $26 an ounce. I remember it running to like $29. People got excited. They're like, "Oh my God." Maybe the government falls, that type of thing. But now we have quantitative easing, so it doesn't work the same way anymore. And so what we're going to see now is we're going to see markets kind of chop and have less conviction. And probably the country is not going to understand it. So it's going to be fun to see how the country here starts to pick up on it. The majority understand it. But when you have a minority, like 1/3 of the country not paying attention to this at all, it makes it really confusing for everybody, even with the ones that understand it. All right, so that's pretty much it. We're done the currencies. So why don't we go take a look at silver? Silver was really showing a lot of strength there yesterday. It was trying to get going, and you can see it here. It's trying to get into the buy right there, and it's above the line. We got a red dot. Would be nice to see it. Wow. We're actually playing in the 23s. So we've gone from 26, broken the 24s, and we're in the 23s now with a low of 23.76. Amazing. And a second week in a weekly sell. It just, these metals are just so disappointing in so many different ways. I guess it's what it comes down to. It's the cryptos. It's basically, it's the cryptos, they're like, and I saw 2 days ago they took Bitcoin up about $800, and then yesterday closed it down. Let's see where Bitcoin is. There it is, right there. And you can see Bitcoin is pretty much. Let's turn that off for a second and see. Yeah, so it fell down yesterday. Basically, took out what it gained. And you can see it's now pressing down again. So, the cryptos, Not even the cryptos can lead anymore. It seems like it's broken. For the last like 9 months, cryptos were leading the market. Now they're broken. So this is truly turning into the unknown territory. That's what it comes down to now. Everything is the unknown territory. All right, let's put silver up on J4X too at the same time. Biden ignores Durham report revelations. Ooh, I didn't even realize that they were expecting to say anything. They're not going to say anything about anything anymore. Let's see. What else can we say about any of this? I guess that's about it. The metals complex is not leading. It's falling apart with this. And or at least say it's going nowhere, not necessarily falling apart. Just it's just going sideways down now. And let's take a look at copper. Copper is the eyes of China, so I'm sure we're seeing. Yeah, there we go. They're trying to pop it up a little bit. It almost got into the buy yesterday. We had a real problem there, but today it's starting. Oh, you know what? That's July. Let me just double check the. I think definitely July is still the front month. We know that much. And I think let's take. I think December is the next one. So let's just take a quick look, because it's really acting like it has no direction at this point when it comes to copper. Yeah. So July had over 36,000 contracts traded yesterday. It has 130,000 in open interest. The next one is September, which only has 2,500 traded and 33,000 in open interest. So it's usually like July, September, and December are and then March. They're the big contracts. So also I think May is a big one too. But yeah, we're not seeing a lot of logic out of all this at this point. They're just kind of, just stumbling, chopping around. What we were talking about? We were thinking that we were going to see a low of 59. It got down to 65. Maybe they're going to take it up to the 80s again, and then maybe they'll try to make another run at the I thought low 60s, high 50s. So we just hit the mid 60s. 65. Yesterday they hit 65 also. So they've hit the mid 60s. That's what we were looking for when we were up around the $4 area. When it went into this weekly sell, we were talking about that. That's what we've been looking for. Looks like we finally got it. Okay. Now, from there, last one of all will be the platinum. You can see platinum is trying to lift its head up, but it's also trying to push itself into a weekly sell. So we've got both of these products really having some issues at the moment. Neither of them, I'm going to save that. Let me do that. There we are. We're not really seeing, we're seeing that the biggest strength of all in both platinum and copper, and gold and silver are kind of stumbling around, not sure what to do. Well, at least silver. Let's go back to silver again. Because silver is above the zero line. Let's see. Let's go back to silver. There it is. Yeah, see, it is trying to get into the buy. It's at 0.06, so it's a plus. But the weekly is, pretty pressed down. So this is probably more of a dead cat bounce. If I end up seeing 21 on silver, I'm just gonna. It's amazing. They just cannot get this poor product to go anywhere. Stalled out in the middle of the 26s. You can't even get up to 30. It got up to the 50 percentile of all-time highs. That's it, 50% away. Whereas gold was literally, some of the back months were literally trading at all-time highs. So it's like, wow, they just cannot get silver moving whatsoever. All right, let's see. I guess that does it with the metals, unless someone has a question. There's spot oil. It's trying to lift up. It's definitely, what do they call it? Texas gold, that's for sure. And let's put Brent up on J4X. There you go. You can see that strength in there. The Hinky is on too. Look at that. Not sure what's happening with the box, but boy, is it locked. And that's lifting just as well. And you can see here, 44.99 versus 35. So basically, it's 45 versus 35. So it's showing strength. They're buying. The Manhattan indicator is definitely pointing up. That's for sure. All right, now from there, we'll go over to the back month. We'll take a look at September oil. After I sip my tea again. 71.87 is the front month. Let's see where they're putting the back month. Right there. 71.43. So it's about a 40 some odd cent. It's come down from about $1.25. Interesting. You know, for the spread, it's got a contango going on. At one point, it was plus. The back months were stronger and higher than the front months. Excuse me. All right, and then from there, we're going to go to Nat Gas. Nat Gas has been looking very firm for the last week. Let's find it right there. That's a little off this morning, nothing major, but it's been, what's that? That's right there. Move this one over. There it is. So it's been in a daily buy for 4 days now. It's playing with the wheat. Oh my goodness, it's right on the edge. The green is what? The green is 0, 0, 0, 0.00. That's where it's at. It's dropped. It's trying to drop underneath the buy signal. Ugh. It's really having its issues there. So this is going to be fun times in the old markets here. And what else can we say about any of it? I guess that's about it. And then from there we go over to, where do we go over to? That's Nat Gas. Oh, I know what it is. Let's put Nat Gas up on J4X. Well, there's the Texas oil right there. You can see that it's trying to lift up also. And that's at 42, and this is at 32. So you can see the buying is coming in there from the indicator also. And then let's put in natural gas right there. Trading at $2.34. Yeah, $2.34, not, you know, and then we'll take a look at what Europe is doing with it. And that's doing the same thing. You see 74 and 70. Well, it's starting to roll over. The green line's starting to drop underneath the yellow line. And then, excuse me, let's tune into the price in Europe. And there it is. This is a Spanish corporation. An energy company in Spain, right there. I don't know how many subsidiaries they have throughout, European Union, but we know it's traded in the exchange there in Spain, and probably traded in other places too. And let's put it up on the screen. We're looking. Oh, good. It's backing off a little bit. It was at 28.40 yesterday. Now it's got a 27.97 bid. So that's $27.97 bid. Whereas in the States here, we are $2.37 bid. $2, yes. $2 versus $27. Talk about pain. Ugh. All those politicians should be asked to resign. All right. That's pretty much the energy sector of it all. Now what we can do is we can take a look at the stock indices a little bit closer. Let's put the Dow Jones Industrial Average right there on J4X. You can see the pressure that's been on that right here. Let's put it up on the screen there. There it comes. And that's the Bitcoin. I didn't fix that. I meant to fix that from yesterday. And then you can see right there, it's trying to perk up a little bit, but it's been in the daily sell for 5 days. This is the 6th day. It went into the weekly sell last week. The fast algorithm went into a weekly sell 2 weeks back. That pressure is on. Now, we're going to have to learn, now that we're in like a Watergate market, we're going to have to learn how they, with quantitative easing, we'll see. Mr. Powell, we talked about it yesterday. Mr. Powell, Mrs. Yellen, the Secretary of Treasurer, Mr. Powell, the Federal Reserve Chairman, and Mr. Biden, the President of the United States, have really lost a lot of credibility over their economic opinion. They've been all wrong. They tried to convince us for almost a year and a half that there was no inflation at all. And then the inflation got to a point where it ran up to 10% within a few months when they finally realized that there was inflation. It was already trading in the 6s and the 7s, and they kept on trying to tell us, don't worry, it's going to go away. It's transitory. Well, they've really lost lots of credibility. And you know what? I always like to remind traders the same thing, is that when you practice trading, when you do your research in trading, when you're constantly trying to build a good habit, when you break your own rules, you usually kind of tangle yourself up. So Biden vetoes bill helping solar collector companies. What's that all? Passage of this resolution bets against American innovation. It would be undermining these efforts and creating deep uncertainty for American businesses. Why he vetoed a bipartisan protecting U.S. solar panel makers. Interesting. Interesting. So, I guess it would hurt China, so he vetoed it. Oh well. He's like the best president China's ever had. There's no doubt about it. So that's where we are with the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's trying to pick its head up this morning. Those big stocks, those powerhouses, they'll just kind of like stumble a little bit in here. Let's take a look at it over here on the S&P 500 now, right there. And like I said, we put a green line up in here because it's trying to get back into the buy. It just went into the sell yesterday. I mean, look how dead it is. It's really looking totally undirectional. And let's put it up on J4X. Right there. So it's looking just like this. Sideways, going nowhere. Anything else to be said about this whole thing? Is like it's sideways. It's just, and you can see the green is trading at the 47 area, and the yellow is at 49. So there's pressure on this at the same time, as you can see right there. We're underneath the zero line right there. This is the daily. Let's put the weekly in there, because our daily is actually plus. Yeah, see, that makes more sense. It's heading down and heading down on the weekly, and then when we go back to the daily, it'll take a little while, but it'll catch up. It'll start to follow this, but you see it's red, and that's red there, and that's fine. And our math is turned up already through the zero line, and we'll see how that goes by the end of the day. More than likely, J4X will probably turn up with it. All right, and then from there we go over to the NASDAQ 100. There it is right there. And you can see the pressure on that. The green line is still above, but they're putting a little pressure into it. Whoa. Right there. And you can see it's been in a buy. I needed to clean that up. There were green dots in there at one point. I'll have to double check what the issue is with that, and we'll clean that up. Let me just double check the exchange again. But I remember saying yesterday I was going to try to go after it and clean it up. Futures. CME. There we are. Yeah, see, this one here needs to be adjusted, that's for sure. And so does that one. Both of them need to be adjusted, and that'll straighten that out. All right. From there, we go over to the Russell 2000, which seems like it was starting to get some action into it again. You can see it's trying to lift up today. Ooh, let's see here. That's not it. Someone dinged me. Who dinged me? Oh, there it is. So, anyhow, that's the stock indices. They are, uh, you know, pressuring. They are definitely pressuring of consolidation at this point, and you can see it's been building too, and building. In other words, it becomes tighter and tighter. Now, sometimes a tight market will just explode, but when you have uncertainty, money starts to put, as they would say, they would sit on the money. They put their hands in their pockets, and that's probably what we're starting to see. So, let's see now. What else can we say about any of these? I guess that's pretty much that's the marketplace itself. Let's go over to the bonds again and take a look at that. I don't know if we did look at the bond. There's the 30-year bond. It's kind of went into a sell a couple days ago right here, and it went down a little bit yesterday, and it's up just a little bit today. You can see it went into the weekly sell last week off of this, and so the pressure is just continuous. It just will not stop. It will just not stop. It just keeps on pressing in that direction. That the markets have no direction. That's what it comes down to. The direction is none. That's what it comes down to. And then when we look at gold, silver, and Bitcoin, we have to basically shrug our shoulders and say, wait a minute. Isn't there uncertainty right now? Why are they being sold down if there's uncertainty? And that's because money is not choosing a direction anymore. It's choosing to do, it's chosen a direction now. It's not up or down. It's choosing the direction of nothing, to do nothing at the moment. And that's what we're really seeing here. So, overall, the markets are, just washing along, acting like it's 1972 again. So I guess we've flipped back in time. What's that? 30 and 20. That's 55 years. 55 years. No, 50. Let's see, 17. 51 years. So it's 51 years. It's like it's flipped back. They don't have any real clarity. They have no real direction. And it's the same fight as it was back then. Overreach by government and the presidency and the executive. And at the same time, trapped in a inflationary period where they're not sure how to get out of it. They're trying to slow the economy. And if they slow the economy, they slow the world. And if they slow the world, you're going to buy dollars and you're going to sell everything else. And that's pretty much how that usually plays out, which is, a real challenging thing. So I guess we have to come up with a title for this one. And I guess I've already, I said it in the beginning. The Watergate years are here again. So I guess that's pretty much markets trade like it's Watergate. That's what it really comes down to. Financial markets trade like it's Watergate. And that's what we'll probably call the title too, because they fought inflation just like we're seeing the Federal Reserve right now fight inflation. It's that same situation. So this is Doc from North America. We will catch you all tomorrow on Thursday. So, happy trails to you. Oh, what's this? I'm seeing a message from the 9th. The 9th? What's today's date? The 17th. Okay. Let's see. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, ya later, traders.